Hello, welcome to the first Eastbury Primary School sign language sort of video sort of tutorial. Okay, my name is Magella Williams, and my sign name is Magella, or Miss Williams for the children. Miss Williams. It's just the three fingers like that. Now, in sign language, you actually have, in the deaf community, you have a sign name, and that actually sort of is a short, a sign that is sort of linked to sometimes to your hair or your face or your personality or anything like that, and it's given to you by a deaf person or someone who's involved in the deaf community. Okay, so my name is like for Magella, that's like an M, and Williams, it's like a W, so it's M, and then it's near my eyes because I'm sort of always looking around, and I'm a little bit crazy, so it just sort of that's how my sign name came. Now everyone has their own, and sometimes it might be linked to a real word, like cat, but they might say Sarah or something like that, or like Miss Gusani, we do goose. Okay, Sarah Gusani, because that's the sign for goose, and because her name sounds the same as goose, and it's spelt the same. So, and Mr. Hovey, because he likes and plays the guitar, Mr. Hovey. So that is what we call your sign name. Now, if you don't have a sign name, you don't worry. What we do is we spell it using our hands, and that's what I did at the start when I went Magella. I was spelling out each letter. Now, I'm going to teach you the ABC. Okay, we'll do that just a little bit later, so don't worry. So you will be able to spell your name. So when you meet a deaf person, either at school or out in the community or one of our deaf children, you will be able to spell your name. Okay, and that's sort of the first thing that you sort of do when you meet someone. Well, the first thing you sort of do is how to introduce yourself. Okay, so, and it's really quite simple. It's just hello. Now, a lot of sign language is not hard, okay? I promise you, it's much easier than learning, say, Spanish or French, because a lot of it's like logical. It's like, you understand, okay? Understand it because it's normal and it's sort of linked to gesture, okay? But, just to be clear, sign language is a proper language, okay? British Sign Language, BSL, has its own structure and is its own language, okay? It is not just gestures. That is a link to it, but it is different, okay? And so you do have to learn some of the the grammar or the little bits that sort of come together to make the language. Okay, so also, just so you are aware, right now you can hear me speaking. Okay, so I'm speaking, and what I'm doing is not BSL. Okay, and BS, that's B, that's S, that's L. Okay, and BSL stands for British Sign Language, and that is used by deaf people all over the UK, in Scotland, in England, in Wales, and in Northern Ireland. Okay, so that's called BSL. But to do BSL, it's for the deaf community, it's voice off. Okay, and it has its own sort of grammar and structure, and it is different to what I'm doing now. Similar, but different. What I'm doing now, it's called SSE, and that's the letter S. So you link your fingers like that. SSE, and that means signed, supported English. So I am speaking in English and I am signing at the same time as I'm talking. So it's not really BSL, it is signed supported English. Now, people who are deaf sort of can use both, okay? They can use both, and they sort of code switch. They can understand both, but it is very clear that SSE is not a language, it is English with sign, okay? And BSL is its own sign language, it's an official language. SSE is just English with sign, okay? At Eastbury School, we use both of those, okay? So we use what we call a total communication sort of structure. So that's total communication, and that means we use SSE like I am now, so our deaf children and our hearing children know and can hear, okay? And just to be clear, deaf children can hear, okay? With their hearing aids on and everything, they can hear. They have to learn how, but they can hear, speech, okay? Speech. It is different to what a hearing child hears, and they have to learn how to understand what they hear, but they do hear, okay? So that's why we do speaking at the same time when I'm teaching. So to teach them how to hear and understand what they can hear through their hearing aids or their cochlear implants, okay? I'll talk a bit more about hearing aids and cochlear implants, later in a different one. So we've got SSE and BSL, put that all together, okay, and we have total or all together. You notice that she said total, she said all together, that's the same, they're different words, but it's the same sign. Yeah, that happens a lot, okay, because in English we've got loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of words, and sometimes in sign language we have the same sign there. How do you know the difference? Well, it's my lip pattern, because you can see, if I turn my voice off, you can see the difference. It was the sign, but my lips were doing different. And that's why lip reading is so important. So when you are talking with deaf people, that you do, but you don't go, over accentuate. That's just stupid and it's a little bit condescending. But you try and slowly and clearly. So and I wasn't doing anything silly with my sort of mouth, and it was quite clear. But when I tried to use it a little bit more, okay? And so that just is to help deaf children and to help people to be able to lip read a little bit easier, okay? So yeah, total communication, SSE and BSL, and sometimes, sometimes we take it away if we want to practice just a little bit. We call oral communication, to practice the sounds. So that would just be like normal sort of speaking, because they have to learn. So sometimes we take away the signs, only in a sort of structured way for short periods of time. So we take it away and we focus on the listening to help them, deaf children, improve their listening. But we don't do it all the time. Some schools, they do that, okay, and they are all schools, and they sort of focus on children's lip reading and listening only, no sign language, okay, and that's just a different approach to teaching deaf children. Some schools focus just on the sign language, voice off, so it's signing only. No signing, no lip patterns, and that's fine. That's a different approach as well, and that's sort of like a bilingual approach. And Eastbury, we use all of it. Okay, we put it all together to come up with a sort of a package that is linked to that child's needs, and that that child's sort of hearing loss, because they are all very different. Okay, and some children speak, and they don't sign, okay, when they're talking to you. But they do need the sign language to understand. So their expressive language might be speaking, but their receptive language, they need the signing to help them understand. Okay, and we have quite a lot of children that do that. Okay, but some might be signing only. Okay, I think that might be enough for now, because there's a lot to take in. That's 10 minutes, and I'll do a little bit more later. Okay, thank you.